All right, so we've got a lot to unpack here. March 18th, 2025, Golden State going up against the Milwaukee Bucks. You flooded my inbox with stuff on this one, so clearly we need to break down the key moments here, the strategy, how everything kind of played out.
Yeah, I think, this wasn't just your average Tuesday night game. You had the Warriors coming off that tough loss to Denver, so they really needed to bounce back, especially against a team like Milwaukee.
Yeah, no doubt. Even from glancing at the highlights, you could tell things haven't been clicking lately. They really needed everyone to step up, and when you're facing Giannis, that need just gets amplified,
For
right?
sure. And one of the first things that jumped out was all the different looks they threw at Giannis on defense. You saw Lillard on him, Prince, even Kuzma and Raymond took their turns. It was like they were willing to try anything to contain him.
Totally. And I caught this great comment about how you have to guard Lillard and Giannis so differently. With Lillard, they were talking about getting physical really up in his grill. But against Giannis, the idea was to give him that little bit of space, almost daring him to take those jumpers.
That's such a crucial point about defensive strategy. With Giannis, if you overcommit, you're dead. He's too strong, too determined to get to the basket. You got to live with those lower percentage shots.
Right, right. So let's get into that first quarter. Quentin Post, early three-pointer. But that came right after a good defensive play from Jimmy Butler. Almost felt like it was setting the tone.
It's amazing how that early success can boost a shooter's confidence. You hit that first shot, you feel like you're in rhythm. Really shows the back and forth between offense and defense, how one can fuel the other.
Then you've got Dame trying to establish himself in the post. He's definitely got the size to make that work sometimes. Then KCP misses a three, Moody grabs the offensive board, and bam, he hits a three of his own. Love that hustle.
Oh, yeah. Getting those second chance points, turning those offensive rebounds into something, that's huge. And for Moody to follow up his own miss with a three shows he's got that awareness.
Talking about Giannis, I was looking at the numbers. He averages less than one three-point attempt per game. So, makes sense why they'd rather have him chucking those up than driving to the hoop.
Got to play the percentages. Much rather have him taking a shot he's not as comfortable with.
But then KCP, who hadn't been shooting well lately, hits a three. That's basketball for you, I guess. Never a dull moment. And then Dame, sidestep three, Giannis wasn't even part of the play.
Shows you how many weapons they have. Can't just focus on Giannis. You got to respect Lillard's ability to create his own shot.
Definitely. And guarding him without someone like Butler glued to him was a challenge. Then you've got Cordy Joseph driving to the basket, looking to score. You love to see that aggressiveness, even from the role players.
Got to keep the defense honest. Can't let them just load up on the stars. CJ taking it strong to the rim, that opens things up for everyone.
Okay, so now the commentators started throwing out some crazy stats from the Warriors' previous game. 20 turnovers, under 60% from the free throw line, called it a historically bad performance. Any idea what could cause such a meltdown?
Well, it could be a lot of things, right? Fatigue from a tough game. Maybe the other team's defense really disrupted them, and sometimes it's just one of those nights. Mental thing, especially with free throws, you miss a couple early, it can snowball.
Hopefully they shook that off for this one, because then, boom, Moody hits another three in transition.
Wow.
You love to see that. Scoring before the defense can even set up.
Transition offense, that's the key to easy points, get that momentum going, and it can take the wind out of the other team's sails.
They also mentioned trying to get Brook Lopez making decisions in the paint, especially with the Pacers breathing down their necks for that playoff spot. What's the thinking there?
Lopez, he's a great rim protector, no doubt. But when you can get him out of his comfort zone, make him move his feet, he's not as effective.
Right. So then KCP misses another three, Butler's there for the rebound, and we see Lopez switched onto Butler. Mismatch city.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Butler's got that strength and agility. Lopez can struggle with quicker players like that. Warriors would definitely try to exploit that.
They kept talking about how important it was for Milwaukee to hit their threes. They started, okay, 3 for 6. But their offense really opens up when those shots are falling.
It's all about balance. If the defense doesn't respect the outside shot, they can just pack the paint and make it tough for Giannis.
And then D'Angelo Russell, they actually praised his defense on a closeout. Not something you hear every day about D'Lo. Shows he can lock in on that end when he needs to.
Got to give credit where it's due. He knows how crucial it is to contest those shots, especially against a team with so many shooters like Milwaukee.
There was this comment that the Warriors weren't switching sides of the floor enough on defense early on. What's the significance of that?
Switching sides can throw off the offense, make it harder for them to settle into a rhythm. If you're always defending on the same side, they can anticipate your movements.
We also got a quick update on some injuries. Jalen Noel and Brandon Ingram, both out for the Pelicans game with back issues. Then Noel comes into this game and hits his first shot, ends up going 4 of 7 from deep. Sometimes all you need is a little rest.
For sure. And for a shooter, seeing that first one go in can really get you going.
PJ Tucker, also back from injury, hits a 3. Seems like everyone's coming back strong. And the Bucks were really active with their hands defensively. That can lead to steals, but also fouls.
Aggressive defense is a double-edged sword. You can create turnovers, but gotta stay disciplined.
They mentioned Tavian Prince again. He's been lights out from 3 this year. Makes a huge difference for Milwaukee, spacing the floor.
Absolutely. With Giannis drawing so much attention inside, you got to have guys who can knock down those open shots.
And that's exactly how they described the Bucks' offense. Giannis drives, collapses the defense, then kick out to guys like AJ Green waiting on the perimeter. Sounds pretty unstoppable when it's working.
It's classic inside-out basketball.
Yeah.
Giannis is the key, but you need those shooters to make the defense pay for focusing on him.
Andre Iguodala, the old man, came up with a nice block early on. Those veteran plays, even if they don't happen all the time, can really energize the team.
Experience matters. They know how to make those timely plays, even if they're not putting up big numbers every night.
Moody makes a baseline cut. PJ Tucker ends up at the free throw line. Kyle Kuzma was caught ball watching on that play. Those little mental lapses, that's what good teams capitalize on.
That's what separates the great defenses from the good ones. You got to be locked in every possession.
Steph, we always talk about his offense, but they were saying he was really focused on defense this game, even from the bench. Shows his leadership, his willingness to contribute in any way he can.
True sign of a champion. He knows what the team needs, and he's willing to do whatever it takes, even if it's not about scoring.
They talked about how tough it is for guys like Draymond and Butler, both in their mid-30s, to keep going at this level, especially with KCP drawing a foul. Their experience must be so valuable, though, helping them manage back-to-backs and teaching the younger guys.
No doubt. They've been through it all. They know how to take care of their bodies, when to push and when to rest, and that knowledge they can pass down is priceless. And then, the commentator's little joke about Maria Wild's tie and shirt combo. Gotta love those moments of levity.
Gotta keep it light sometimes. Speaking of which, it seemed like the Bucks weren't getting a lot of easy baskets outside of Lillard, Giannis, and Kuzma in the paint.
Sounds like the Warriors were doing a decent job of containing everyone else, making them work for their shots.
They specifically mentioned Kuzma getting denied at the rim a couple of times. He did hit an early 3, though. Gotta stay on him. He can score from anywhere.
He's a tough matchup. Inside, outside, you gotta count for him at all times.
We saw a lineup out there with Santos, Kuminga, Podziemski, Moody, and Raymond. Lots of young energy in that group.
That can be a real weapon, that burst of athleticism.
Yeah.
Especially when you need a spark.
Then Giannis takes a 3 right before the shot clock expires. Commentator called it no man's land. Not exactly his sweet spot.
If he's not hitting those consistently, you gotta live with that shot.
The Warriors were checking up 3s early and often. Definitely seemed like a big part of their game plan.
It's kind of their bread and butter, especially their personnel.
Lopez got to the basket for a dunk. They were talking about how important it is to move your feet on defense. You can't just rely on size.
Especially against those quick guards. You gotta be able to stay in front of your man.
Steve Kerr calls a timeout. Felt like the Bucks were starting to gain some momentum there. And then random reference to a Sharks hockey game and a power play. Gotta love the local flavor.
Always fun when the commentators throw in those little nods to the other teams in town.
Santos looked for a pass, but good defense from Milwaukee. Nothing easy there. And then the commentator said he just learned the term ice the puck at the hockey game. Sometimes that new knowledge just sticks with you.
It's funny how that happens. You learn something new, and then you start noticing it everywhere.
It was mentioned that Dame's mid-range game has been improving. Now he's scoring from all over.
It makes him even tougher to guard. Can't just focus on one part of his game anymore.
And just a quick aside about those opposing crowds chanting during free throws. Gotta love the intensity of these games, even trying to get in the shooter's head.
Part of the game, right. A little bit of gamesmanship. Never hurt anyone.
Warriors really committed to those 3s. The Bucks had a good defensive rotation, though, showing their communication on that end. With the shot clock winding down to 5, the Warriors were looking for that split action back to Kuminga.
It's a good way to get him the ball in space, let him use his athleticism to attack the basket.
They brought up Tavian Prince's stats again, shooting over 44% for the season. He's been a huge addition for the Bucks.
You can't overstate how valuable that kind of consistent shooting is.
Foul and Porter Jr., then Draymond collides on a screen. Lots of physicality in this one. And the Bucks were looking to switch on defense, trying to disrupt the Warriors' flow.
Switching can be really effective, but it takes perfect communication and execution.
The Milwaukee fans, they were loving Nwora. They even had a nickname for him, Ludi Vega. Always cool to see those fan favorites. And they were talking about Moody and Santos, Buddy Hield, and Looney as guys who could have a good shooting night. Scoring coming from everywhere, that's what you want. KCP has been quiet. D'Lo hasn't found his range. GP2 hasn't had many opportunities, JK and PK trying to get involved.
Exactly. It's got to be a team effort. You need everyone contributing offensively.
Shot clock down to 1. Looney misses a baseline jumper. Couldn't quite get it to fall. It felt like Milwaukee was starting to heat up, and the commentator even predicted they would come roaring back.
Momentum swings are a big part of basketball. You string together a few good plays, and suddenly the whole game feels different.
Gary Trent Jr., it's a floater. He's got that shot down pat. Tough to defend when he's on. And just like that, the Warriors' 12-point lead is down to 3.
Those floaters, they're like a little weapon he can pull out whenever he needs to.
Yeah. But Santos was battling for every loose ball, getting those extra possessions. Love that hustle. Kuminga, he got a little stubborn on the baseline, but it turned into a good play. Then they set him up for a 3. They're trying to get him going.
It's about letting those young guys find their rhythm. You got to give them a chance to make plays.
Ken was waiting for Giannis to take that mid-range jumper, and he finally did. And then he gets to the free throw line, which the commentator said is better than him dunking.
Containing him in the paint is priority number 1.
Yeah.
You got to make him work for every point.
Podziemski, with a nice pump fake, drives to the basket, no foul. He's not afraid to attack. And then Gary Trent Jr., you got to keep an eye on him at all times. He can heat up quickly. Santos grabs another rebound, immediately pushing the ball up the court. That's the mentality you want. They also mentioned some potential disagreements with the officiating, calling some fouls more colorful than others. Guess it's all a matter of interpretation.
Refs always have a tough job. Those close calls, they're going to go one way or the other.
They were happy to see Kuminga get to the free throw line, especially after he went 1 for 5 in his previous game. Those easy points can be big for a young player's confidence. Giannis drives to the basket, and they said once he gets past Steph, it's over. That combination of speed and power is just unfair sometimes.
There's really no one else in the league like him. When he gets going downhill, it's almost impossible to stop.
Giannis gets his own offensive rebound and scores. You could just see the determination. Then, Hield finds Butler with the shot clock winding down. Good ball movement there. GP2 with a nice left-handed layup after a good cut. PJ Tucker heads to the free throw line. They called him built in a lab. And they talked about the importance of having those counter moves when you attack the basket. Got to keep the defenders guessing.
That's what makes a player truly elite. You can't just rely on one move. You got to have a whole arsenal.
Barr was telling PJ Tucker to keep shooting those threes. If they're leaving him open, he's got to take them. Bucks went to his zone defense for a bit, trying to mix things up. Then Moody loses the ball, leads to a layup for Trent Jr. and a foul three-point play. Those turnovers, they can kill you.
Especially against a team like the Bucks, they're going to make you pay for those mistakes.
They mentioned something about heel-to-heel contact, maybe a little friendly fire there. And then they compared it to some of the contact you see during March Madness with those zone defenses. Funny how some things are universal in basketball. D'Lo was getting those open threes, but just hitting rim. Sometimes they just don't fall. Got to make those shots count.
Absolutely. Against good teams, you can't afford to waste those open looks.
They talked about Brook Lopez, 17 years in the league, drafted all the way back in 2008. What a career. And then Butler draws a late foul. The commentator said it was a good call. He's crafty like that.
Veteran move. He knows how to use his body, how to draw those fouls.
They said Butler was taking advantage of Lopez's lack of speed. Smart play. The Warriors were shooting better from the free throw line this game, 8 for 9. That's a good sign after their struggles last time out.
Definitely a positive sign. You got to take care of those free points.
Their field goal percentage was still pretty low, though, only 38%. You can't just rely on free throws. They were drawing comparisons to that Denver game where they stayed close for a while but then got blown out.
Got to be consistent for all 4 quarters, especially against these top teams.
1 minute left in the first. Looney with a huge block on Lillard. Then Buddy Hield to GP2. Hield knocks down a 3. That's the kind of play that can swing momentum.
Quick, decisive offense. That's what you need to keep the defense on their heels.
They were praising Porter Jr., saying he can really score the basketball, hoping he can find that consistency. Butler tries to stop Lillard, but he gets by him and sets up GP2, who misses the 3. Porter Jr. pushes it the other way. Fast-paced game. And a quick mention of Porter Jr.'s 1 year at USC. Splash Mountain. Lopez from deep. He misses. The Warriors hanging on to their lead. Butler tries to post up A.J. Green, but he can't get any separation. Lillard goes for the buzzer beater. A running three gets blocked. And a shout out to a classic jersey. Love those little nostalgic moments. Steph, even though he wasn't playing, he was still coaching up GP2 from the sideline. Lillard's three rattles out. Close, but no cigar. Kuminga goes over to talk to Butler and Draymond, probably getting some advice. Podziemski settles for three, maybe could have attacked the basket there. And they mentioned Milwaukee's top 10 defensive rating. It's tough to score on them in the half court. But then Porter Jr. beats the buzzer with a wing jumper. Great way to end the quarter.
Nothing like a buzzer beater to give your team a boost heading into the next quarter.
They mentioned Brandon Ingram being out, so A.J. Green was getting more minutes alongside Kuzma. Lopez even had to handle the ball a bit. Everyone's stepping up. Lopez was making Lillard work for every touch. And they said that the Warriors were lucky that the Bucks were shooting so poorly from three, only 3 for 14 at that point. Can't count on that every night. Then another turnover for the Warriors. You got to protect the ball. But they were still up by double digits. Kuzma hadn't been hitting his shots, so Draymond didn't really contest post on a three-point attempt, playing the odds. Post moves to the corner, drives baseline, then fades back out. The commentator said they want to see Post keep shooting. He's got the confidence. Jimmy Butler heads to the bench. Ryan Rollins comes in, getting his first minutes. He was part of that Jordan Poole trade, remember? Milwaukee, with Giannis, they're so dangerous in transition. He's so quick. Post fouls Kuminga. They were talking about the rotation with about 10 guys playing each game. And a mention of trying to get to that beast mode, like Kevin Porter Jr., Jackson Davis trying to guard Giannis. That's a tough assignment. Giannis pump fakes, tough shot.
Draymond comes out of nowhere for a donkey, as the commentator called it. Running with friends, P. Spencer gets a layup, all set up by Draymond. The ball swings to Kuzma. He's got 8 shots up already. Steve Kerr calls a timeout. Pat Spencer, Jackson Davis, Podziemski, and Hield all score after the timeout. Hield with a 3. Looked like a good screen against maybe a zone defense. Little miscommunication from the Bucks. The Bucks hit 8 threes last night, already matched that in the first half. Spencer gets called for an in-and-out foul. Trace Jackson Davis goes 1 for 2 from the line. He then makes a nice steal. Giannis holding on to the ball too long. Rollins was open, but Spencer recovers. Good hustle from the young guys. Kuminga goes to the line, Grayton Resort, and casino fouls, the commentator called them. They were saying the refs might be expecting a lot of contact with Butler on the Warriors, leading to some early calls. And X joked that Steph wouldn't be shooting free throws tonight. Giannis misses another short free throw. Draymond ties him up for a jump ball. Kuminga gets the tip. Good job, Draymond.
Those little plays, those hustle plays, they can make all the difference.
15-point lead for the Warriors. Kuminga, Butler, Post, and Podziemski all with 8 points. Cross-screen play, let the player make a decision. Dame guarding Kuminga. Buddy Hield hits a jumper. He's been having a good night. Then he kind of kicks Kuminga. A little bit of a sneaky play. Raymond there in defense. Spencer gets by Draymond. Warriors keep building their lead. Milwaukee only shooting 33%. Got to take advantage of that. Kuminga looking for contact. Couldn't quite get the foul. They doubled Giannis at half court. Lillard tries a risky pass for a 3. It's no good. Really good defensively tonight. That was a really good double team. Backcourt violation on Milwaukee. Their 5th turnover. Only 8 points for the Bucks in this quarter. They were talking about Giannis and his counter moves, that spin move, the tornado. Good teams make their push at the end of quarters. Moody hits a floater with 3 seconds left. They joked about a Lopez layup if it was Podziemski again. And then a little chat about cornbread entrepreneurship. 14-point lead. How do they finish these last 2 minutes of the half? Quentin Post knocks down a 3 off a skip pass. Got to defend those. Draymond doing a good job on Giannis. Post wide open again for 2 more threes. He's hot. The Warriors fronting Giannis, trying to force the ball to Lopez, who hits a deep 3. They want that high-low action, but this Bucks team has champions on it. Raymond misses a 3. Their biggest lead was 17. Lopez scoring inside, using his size. Jonathan Kuminga drawing a foul with his snake dribble. The Warriors playing much more physically in the second half. No second chance points for the Warriors, though. The Bucks have 9. The commentator joked about Willard calling his own number. Lopez airballs a 3 at the buzzer. 2.2 seconds left. Still a 14-point lead. Rollins to Butler for the last shot of the half. And that's the half.
You got to love a strong finish to a quarter. Keeps that momentum going into the break.
The commentator said Giannis and Dame wouldn't go down without a fight. He was right. Lillard comes out and hits a sidestep 3. Draymond with a good box out. I'd bet Podziemski, Butler, and Draymond got an earful at halftime. The Bucks were huddling up, making adjustments too. Giannis didn't settle for a three. He drove right at Draymond. Moody with a nice cut, almost gets a tough shot to fall. Offensive foul on Giannis. Draymond got to the spot first. See alive to see another day. Another missed shot by Giannis inside. Post with the good defense. Butler misses a jumper. The Bucks shooting just 36%. The commentator said Dame would come out firing in the second half, looking for a shot more. How long can the Warriors keep this lead? NBA games are all about runs. How do they handle Milwaukee's push? Offensive foul, moving screen on post. Podziemski knocks the ball away from Caldwell Pope. Warriors looking good on those baseline cuts. Post gets the ball. Butler's there on the baseline, doesn't let him get the dunk. Such a good idea by Jimmy Butler. Looking at he's slower than Jimmy is Jimmy's getting to the rim. They talked about Jimmy's comments about Steph, how he's exhausted but still the leader. Don't mess with Jimmy Butler. Gotta protect Steph even when he's not out there. Podziemski at the top of the key. Butler gets the rebound. Draymond with the dime to Butler for the layup. That is pretty basketball. Split action, so many options, tough to defend. Butler's up to 12 points now. Kuzma getting a lot of open threes, already up to 8 attempts. They mentioned the Bucks only having 1 championship. Still waiting on Bobby Portis to come back from suspension. Turnover on post, traveling violation. You like him looking to be aggressive, but just picked up that pivot. Here comes the Bucks run. How do the Warriors respond? Lopez hits a 3. They're a good shooting team, we know that. The Warriors double-teaming Dame, gotta rotate quickly. Another turnover, Bucks got all the momentum now. And as good of a three-point shooting team as the Bucks are, you want to rotate to the shooters. Warriors were lucky in the first half. That luck's running out. 17-point lead down to 9. That 3 ball is coming to life, so you're going to have to work harder on the defensive end and get stops. Milwaukee timeout. Kuminga back in for some offense. Moody gets stripped by Lillard.
So the Bucks doing everything right here. Giannis in transition, no Steph to slow him down. Like, where do you go offensively? 5 turnovers in the corner for the Warriors after 5 in the first half. Yeah, the first half they weren't on those cuts. All of a sudden they're on them now. Hield hits another 3. He's feeling it. Don't have a lot of movement this trip down. Shot clock at 11. Who in a white jersey is going to make a play? Butler misses a tough shot. Lillard to Kuzma, and the Bucks take the lead. The Warriors fortunate, to clear out. Just let him go with Dame and Lillard now. Dame double-teamed. Butler's probably going to give him an earful at halftime. Where's your pride? They're coming out. They look like a different team now. Moody goes hard for a rebound. Loose ball foul. Draymond gets called for it. Lillard drives. Raymond stops him. Can the Warriors end this 14-0 run? Kuminga hits a big 3. Draymond with a runner. What a big play. And it doesn't happen without Gee's closeout on Tavian Prince, a good 3-point shooter. Giannis has to force it to Lopez, no good. Podziemski traps Lillard. Bucks take their first lead.
That was slick there. A little change of size, movement, flow. Santos answers with a 3. Big shot. So G had the rebound. He has the 3, and the Warriors are back in front. Should play like G Santos exactly, energy-wise. Giannis and Lopez working together, tough to stop. Yeah, this team, the first half was the anomaly, 4 of 20 on threes. They've already made 6 threes in the quarter now. You got to take them out of rhythm, get more physical. Who's got fresh legs for the Warriors? Raymond misses a 3. Kuminga can't get the putback. You'd love to get something before the defense is set. You've had 6 turnovers in the quarter, but big picture, you're in a 1-point game with 3.5 left in the third. Giannis goes to the line, makes 1 of 2. Scoring update. Giannis with 13, Post with 11, Podziemski with 12, Santos, Hield, and Butler all contributing. Buddy Hield with a steal, tough third quarter for the Warriors. Ball goes out of bounds off Jonathan Sterling. Kuminga takes a 3, tough shot with the clock winding down. And they did right now. Can they execute is the question. Butler setting GP2, that corner 3 is huge. And like you said, give it to Jimmy. Let him have a lead going into the fourth just so you can say, yeah, we stunk in this quarter, but look, we still have the lead. Butler against Looney, then AJ Green. So entire first half, you wanted to just start thinking the game better from here on out on both sides of the win. They're 0-5. It wasn't supposed to be that kind of night. Giannis isolates on Hield. Easy layup. Right now, this game is flipped 23. Easier for the Bucks to score now. Hield gets a steal and hits a 3. Big bucket, just momentum-wise. Some Podziemski's got 12 off the bench. Moody gets knocked down, going for the rebound. End of the third quarter.
That third quarter was a roller coaster. The Bucks really flipped the script.
Podziemski starts the fourth with a missed 3. They were talking about all the pick and rolls we'd see, especially with Butler and Lillard. And Dame goes to the line, wants to take over this game. They compared him to DeMar DeRozan and how he learned to score against those bigger wings. His first game was against Kobe. Talk about a tough start. He misses both free throws. That's not like him. But the Warriors still up by 2. Kuminga, Post, Draymond, Hield, and Butler to start the fourth. Butler goes to the line looking for that switch onto Lillard. Dame, 4 years at Weber State, sixth pick overall, loyal guy. He gets the and one. 4-point play. Draymond boxes out Giannis. Long way to go in this game with the crowd starting to buzz a little bit. Butler with that mid-range jumper again. Giannis up top. Draymond blocks Kevin Porter. The ball goes to Lillard. He loses the handle. Podziemski dives for it. Hield hits a three. Listen to this crowd. Lillard, beautiful first 2 minutes of the fourth, but maybe a little foul. You got a little over-aggressive there. You're double teaming off only one game that can be buddy barometer, yes. Draymond standing tall on defense. Like, good, so much, some mouth 15 shooter. Yeah, you're okay with those mid-range jumpers, but he thought about it. But pterodactyl wingspan, to be honest, was lurking. You can just throw it in the post and go split action. Got clock at 3 piece. Got to make something out of nothing. Fading three did well to hit iron and post a rebound, then knocked away Giannis, combining for the steal. Giannis hurts his leg. Lillard misses an open three. They were talking about Giannis's stats: 30 points on 60% shooting last year. Never been done before, on pace to do it again this year, but his free throws are below 60%. Well, there's no more in the league in point a game. His team is 28-point in the 1-up-2. Only him doing most of the damage inside for them. 9 minutes left. Warriors playing without Steph on the second night of a back-to-back. Do they try to feed Butler inside? Hield passes to Butler. Shot clock down to 3. Draymond throws up a prayer. It misses. Moody sets up Kuminga for a 3. He buries it.
Get to their action earlier, took a lot of contact there, didn't get a foul. And in that split action, 1 for 3 working the baseline, quitting, post catch and shoot, triple. Got it. That split AC works. You get Timmy Butler cutting. Baseline putting, post doesn't need much time. The 5C pick of the draft posted 4T Giannis. That is the freight train going downhill, right? You get him downhill with those tough to shoot it in rhythm. You take this much time, made that one so much. And so Giannis continues to, so at 7-point leading the ball with GP2 and Moody, Raymond Butler, and Post and Raymond Butler can't go the whole distance here. We're going to have to buy some time for either one. Jimmy Butler floats it in. Coach Brown trying to fire up the Warriors. Can they close this out? They were 6-3 without Curry this year. This is game number 10. Lillard picks up another foul. Top 75 player. They love listening to him talk about playing against Jordan.
He execute here. He had 10 turnovers in the third. Much better fourth quarter getting out of the GP2. The guy's low side step 3. Here comes Constant Mehmet attacking. QOP did well, didn't foul him. That was when Rivers buying time with Giannis resting. Right now, can you add to this extended trade Giannis? Say you can set a screen the GP2, get Dan Ross switched on to Jimmy Butler at 5, Butler to contact on CR Jimmy. And so, I mean, that's the whole key right now in the NBA. Anything could happen in for their NBA lines, so you got to match that intensity. Jimmy Butler, 24-11 of 11 free throwing in ERS, are back in the free throw groove, getting close to Dame time. Lillard likes to take over one way through the fourth, and he will get another foul. He will get another field goal opportunity. For a 3-point play, he's got it locked in kill mode now. He's just leaning in there too, but that's where Dame was playing with that abdominal muscle issue, and he's fully healthy now. I talked to him pregame, and at age 34, he still feels good. And homecoming games, when he comes back to the Bay Area, matter greatly to him, especially if he sees this situation where they're knocking the double C's or kind of a drop cover. He's going to go quick.
Butler with Kuminga on him. Prince switches. GP2 open for 3. Gary Payton II has been making threes at a 46% rate for the last all kinds of time to line it up. Lopez was late getting out Lard against the world right now. Serratori and Prince stocked it in that best three-point shooter in the NBA. That's all the slower man in the double team. Bucks with 4 threes in the first half, 8 in the second. 5-point lead for the Warriors with 5 minutes left. Lillard sizing up Kuzma. How much energy does Butler have these final 4.45? Raymond checking in. Lillard with a deep 3, no good. No transition offense for the Warriors in the fourth. Moody almost takes a 3. Good defense from Prince. Moody turns it over. His 4th of the game. He gets another open look. Prince rebounds again. Jump ball. GP2 ties him up.
That's what took him to descend it. He's probably going to maybe go that way. And he tries to get it to Draymond. Giannis touched it back screen, throw it to Butler over the top, and he couldn't quite lay it in. Jimmy would want that one back. He got to get back home, and he could have pushed it to 7, and Draymond fouling Giannis. But his MVP candidates, Giannis is one of those guys. Sustained excellence. People get bored of how good he's been. And he's putting up amazing numbers too. Going to load up on Giannis. But